me and Miss Cathan and Mr. Gray and Mr. Bandiera are dressing up tomorrow as Mystery Inc. I'm Velma. Should be fun.
Who is he?
Mr. Bandiera.
Okay, he is.
Yeah. I feel like his is the most of a stretch. We don't have a Scooby, but we'll be all right. Let's see. Is Nate not here today?
No.
Ba-da-da-bum-bum-bum. Ba-da-da-bum-bum-bum. Yeah, we'll you guys in just a minute. Yeah. Just trying to get some stuff graded. No, shoot. Ah. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Oh, it's so bright behind me. You can't even like really see me there. It's like I've got the whole sun behind me. Ba-da-da-bum-bum-bum. Ba-da-da-ba-ba-ba. Give everyone a few moments to get in. I never know how many. Here comes Hayward. Oh yeah, I might want this. Each day. Oh no. I just accidentally closed the tab. I didn't mean to. Table of contents. Oh, we're missing quite a few people right now. Here comes Ian.
Talk is cheap and all broke.
Okay, so Christian and Nate are both doing the test today. I see.
Oh yeah, we're testing.
Yep, today's the makeup day. All right, we do have Ian. We don't have Corey just yet. We'll see if he shows up. We've got Brendan and Hayward and Troy and Eli and Chip is in person. And we have Sterling and we have Andreas. The only person unaccounted for at the moment is Corey. I don't know where he might be. Okay. Let's see if I need to kind of tell you guys anything about next week yet. Okay, so today we're going to continue reading Hamlet and we'll get as far as we can. There will be times when I just ask you to like finish reading a scene or something before our next class, and I may assign you something at the end of today. It kind of just depends on how far we get. But then it'll be like, what?
No, please.
Well, the thing is, it'll be a little bit before we actually read anymore in class. Like I'm thinking until next Thursday, probably.
So Friday before Halloween. No, please.
Well, if I assigned you some reading, you would also have like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to do it. So it would be okay. And it wouldn't be very much because
I'm not doing anything.
I don't want you to read a whole lot. Like I'm never going to assign you like a big chunk of stuff to read because I don't want you to read too much without us talking about it. But on Monday, we'll have a short writing assignment, sort of like one of the discussion posts. It's like 2 questions for kind of analyzing what we've read so far. And then you guys don't come to school on Tuesday, which is great. I don't come to school either, and that's wonderful. That's even greater in my opinion, because you guys get a lot of days off that we don't get, and so that's, you know.
We also have like other stuff off next week, don't we? Besides just Tuesday.
Mm-mm.
Is it Friday half day? Something weird because it's the end of the quarter?
Let me check. But I don't think so.
Yeah.
Let me check my no, just Tuesday we have off. The end of the quarter is the following Tuesday. And as far as I know, last time I checked, now they did actually like update the calendar after the ones that I've printed out. So let me double check. It's so annoying. I like color coded this one. I didn't know that they were going to do that. Revised calendar. And it got revised 2 days ago, so who's to say? November's normal though. Like they haven't changed anything. I don't know what they might have changed. It looks like they may have added some e-learning days. Cool. Okay, I'll go back and change these in a little bit in my own calendar.
Made some days that weren't e-learning, that were like in-person days, e-learning days.
Yeah. And
It's a real thing.
there's Corey. That one's not real. The one on the shelf is real.
I didn't even know what it was.
His name's Eddie.
His name is Ed.
Yeah.
Is Eddie
There's.
named for anyone in particular?
He was named for. Have you seen
Your camera is like really blurry. Do you wipe it off?
What?
Your camera is really blurry. Just take your finger and wipe it off.
Oh.
I'm not gonna lie, it kind of made it worse. You have like some tissue. That's so much better. So much better.
Okay.
It's like how you first wake up, you got all that stuff in your eye, and you try
Yeah.
to open it up. Exactly like that.
You know, I noticed that it looked weird, but I thought it was because the sun was coming in behind me and it was just like kind of making me blurry, but no. Wait a minute, where are you? There you are. I'm gonna change your attendance. I'm glad you pointed that out. And then so y'all have Tuesday off, and then Wednesday I have kind of set aside as a catch-up day in this class. I don't usually do that, and I won't do it again. I won't do it for any other quarters from here on out. But I know that some of you have gotten off to a little bit of a rough start, especially when it was all virtual. Like if you're coming in now, it's maybe a little bit easier. But you have a lot of stuff to catch up on, and I just want to try to set everybody up for success as much as I can. So while a catch-up day is not a thing that I normally do, because I think you're old enough and responsible enough to keep track of your own work. This year's just been a little bit different so far, and it's been tough. I mean, tough on me too, so I get it. And I don't want anybody to have a really low grade for their first report card if I can help it not be really low. So I'm trying to do what I can. But from here on out, you're gonna have to pull your own weight a little bit more. So I went through all of Hamlet last night. I didn't read the whole thing, but I went through like each scene and wrote down every character that's going to be in it and what scenes they're in. Troy, I'm not exactly sure when the report card comes out. I would think, so Sorry, I'm looking at my calendar. If I had to guess, I would say November 16th, because the end of the quarter is November 10th, which is a Tuesday, and I think we'll probably have the rest of that week to get our grades in. So the 10th is the cutoff for getting stuff in, but I think it'll be the next Monday when the report cards come out. Don't quote me on that because nobody's told me that. I'm just kind of using my own. Oh no, I just realized that I posted something in the wrong class. No, I didn't. I'm just in the wrong class on Canvas. Silly me. Okay, so I went through the whole play and I looked up the. I don't know, Eli. You said in the chat that you thought they came out next Friday. Nobody's told me one way or another. So
why don't we just like how we did with the Romeo and Juliet in ninth grade, do the play where everybody actually has a part.
That is what we're doing.
Yeah, just double check because that was kind of fun.
Yeah, I was just going to show you in the announcements on Canvas because I couldn't figure out where else to put it. I can't just like post information on Canvas, which is so stupid. Maybe. There might be one or two things that I haven't graded yet.
I submitted my morality play last night.
I definitely haven't graded that yet.
Oh yeah. That was when I was supposed to do that. Was not what I was about, right?
Yeah. That's fine. Sorry, Chip just asked if the grade book was up to date, and I was checking to see what I have not graded. Obviously, I haven't graded the morality play yet. Let me take a look. The discussion post for this week I have not graded yet, and the themes and opinions from last Friday I have not graded yet because I gave you guys like no, nothing like that. And I intentionally waited to grade those things because I kind of gave you like the earlier part of this week. If you hadn't done the Friday one yet, you could have a little extra time to do that, and then Tuesday and Wednesday the discussion post for this week. So I will get those graded ASAP. Okay, so if you look in the announcements, and I'll share my screen with literally everyone but Chip. Sorry. I posted in the announcement section that I divided up all the parts that will be read in Hamlet so that everyone gets an opportunity to read. There's a chance that some smaller roles won't actually be allowed in class, be read aloud in class. I went ahead and like assigned all of them anyway, but just be aware that there might be a part. I'm thinking of one scene in particular that's just like super duper long, and I think I'll probably wind up assigning you to read a good portion of it on your own. They might be assigned to a part that doesn't actually get read in class. But if a role has an asterisk next to it, it just means it's only a few short lines. Sometimes it's even one line. If you're absent or if your mic isn't working on a day when your part's being read, you just kind of run the risk of me having to come up with a new silly voice to read your lines unless somebody else wants to take up the mantle for the day. So I made a list of who all was going to read the parts. I stuck with what we did yesterday, like who read the parts from yesterday, but everybody's reading at least one role. Most people are reading more than one. And also, if you look down here, if you just wanted to see a list of everybody whose parts you're reading, at the bottom of the page here. In fact, Brendan, I think you're the only one only reading one part, but it's literally the biggest part. So I think you'll be okay. So just, maybe keep a list of that somewhere so that you know when your parts are coming up. Okay, so yesterday, this is where we left off, Act 1, Scene 2, and we got to the end of page 2. So there's actually like a lot of people in this scene. Claudius is in this scene, Gertrude, which Christian is going to read that normally, which it was just because he kind of got I don't want to say punished, but he volunteered himself because he did a funny voice for it. Hamlet, Polonius, Laertes, Ophelia, Voltimand, Cornelius, Horatio, Marcellus, and Bernardo are all in this scene at some point. So where we got to yesterday.
You said Ronaldo was in this?
No, Ronaldo is not in this scene, but Horatio is. Yeah. Hopefully we won't have too many people talking to themselves, but I guess I'll read Gertrude for today since Christian is testing, in which case I might be talking to myself a bit. So we left off here at the bottom of page 2. Hayward had just done his first line as Laertes, and he's wanting to go to France. Laertes, who is Polonius' son, is wanting to go to France. He had been in France before. Now he wants to go back. So he's actually going to be gone for like a good portion of the play, but he comes back at the end. So if everyone is ready, hang on, I see that I've got it. We will be starting at the top of page 3. Okay, so that's me, and Eli, you'll come in as Polonius. Brennan, you'll come in as Hamlet, and I might talk to myself and be Gertrude. Do you have your father's permission? What does Polonius say? Top of page 3.
He hath, my lord, wrung from me my slow leave. By laborsome petition, and at last upon his will, I sealed my hand consent, my hard consent. I do beseech you, give him leave to go.
And feel free to read the more modern translation, unless you just love the original. In that case, leave when you like, Laertes, and spend your time however you wish. I hereby grant your consent and hope you have a good time. And now, Hamlet, my nephew and my son.
Too many families ties there for me.
Why are you still so gloomy with a cloud hanging over you?
It's not true, sir. Your son is out of the sun.
My dear Hamlet, stop wearing these black clothes and be friendly to the king. You can't spend your whole life with your eyes to the ground remembering your noble father. It happens all the time. What lives must die eventually, passing to eternity.
Yes, mother, it happens all the time.
So why does it seem so particular to you?
Seen, mother? No, it is. I don't know what you mean by seen. Neither my black clothes, my dear mother, nor my heavy sighs, nor my weeping, nor my downcast eyes, nor any other display of grief can show what I really feel. It's true that all these signs seem like grief, since a person could use them to fake grief if he wanted to. But I've got more real grief inside me that you could ever see on the surface. These clothes are just a hint of it.
So I just want to point out before I continue that I do feel like Gertrude is being a little bit like casual about all this. Her husband died, and she's sitting here telling Hamlet, basically, you need to get over this. Like, you've been mourning too long. We're in Act 1, Scene 2. Yeah. So if you go up to the little drop down menu, or actually there's like table of contents up at the top with the 3 lines next to it, and it has each scene. And we are now on page 4. But also, you know, I told you guys that Hamlet's like kind of like emotional and like gloomy and everything. I think this is a great example of that, because he's basically like, yeah, I'm like just walking around sighing all the time, crying all the time, like everything. And none of that even shows you how much grief I really feel. It's not a phase, Mom. Hamlet, you are so sweet and such a good son to mourn your father like this. But you have to remember that your father lost his father, who lost his father before him, and every time each son has had to mourn his father for a certain period. But overdoing it's just stubborn. It's not manly. It's not what God wants. Okay. And it betrays a vulnerable heart and an ignorant and weak mind. Since we know that everyone must die sooner or later, why should we take it to heart? You're committing a crime against heaven, against the dead, and against nature. And it's irritational, since the truth is that all fathers must die. Please give up this useless mourning of yours and start thinking of me as your new father. Okay, Scar, if you say so. Because everyone knows that you are the man closest to this throne, and I love you just as much as any father loves his son. And your plans for going back to Wittenberg are not what I want. I'm asking you now to stay here in my company as my number one member of my court, my nephew, and now my son too. Please answer my prayers, Hamlet, and stay with us. Don't go back to Wittenberg.
I'll obey you as well as I can, ma'am.
That's the right answer. Shows your love. Stay in Denmark like us. My dear wife, come. Hamlet's agreeing to stay makes me happy, and every merry toast I'll drink today will be heard as far as the clouds overhead. My drinking will be echoed in the heavens. That's some serious drinking. Let's go. Everyone except Hamlet exits.
Oh boy. I wish my dirty flesh could melt away into a vapor, or that God had not made a law against suicide. Oh God, God. How tired, stale, and pointless life is to me. Dang it. Ah!
I'm not going to get you in trouble for saying it. It's in the text.
Because my mama started right there. I'm about
Oh,
to,
gotcha.
Woo! It's like a garden that's no one.
Then just say it. I know you in class.
Taking care. And that's growing wild.
It's not even that bad.
Now.
It's not even that bad.
I know it ain't that bad, but see.
I'm so happy to say it in front of my mom.
You don't have to say it.
My mama ain't your mama, boy.
My mama still, cut up.
Also, for the record, like y'all know from Romeo and Juliet that like Shakespeare likes an occasional dirty joke. If there's anything you're uncomfortable with saying, you can, make up something else or skip it.
Only nasty weeds grow in it now. I can't believe it's come to this. My father's only been dead for 2 months. No, not even 2. Such an excellent king, as superior to uncle as a god is to a beast, and so loving toward my mother that he kept the wind from blowing too hard on her face.
Look at all this you get to read.
Woo! Woo! All right, I'm out. Oh God, do I have to remember that she would hang on to him, and the more she was with him, the more she wanted to be with him. She couldn't get enough of him. Yet, even so, within a month of my father's death, I don't even want to think about it. Oh, women, you are so weak. Even before she had broken in the shoes she wore to his funeral, crying like crazy. Even an animal would have mourned its mature longer than she did. There she was, marrying my uncle, my father's brother, who's about as much like my father as I'm like Hercules. Less than a month after my father's death, even before the tears on her cheek had dried, she remarried. Oh, so quick to jump into a bed of insects. Oh. Oh. Oh gosh. That's not good. And no good can come out of it either. But my heart must take a break in its silence, since I can't mention my feelings aloud.
I mean, fair enough. That is not good. If you think about if my dad died and 2 months later my mom married my uncle, I'd be really upset about it. Like, that's not even enough time to like get over the person who died, and here she is saying like, oh, you should be over this by now, Hamlet. It's been 2 months. Aren't you okay now? Like, no, lady, of course not.
Right.
Okay, so Horatio Marcellus, which was Christian, so I'll read that today, and Bernardo, who's Ian, enter. I don't know if y'all can hear Chip super well, but here, you know what? I'll come over here and maybe they can hear you through this a little bit. If you don't mind saying that again.
Hello, sir.
Did y'all hear
Oh,
Chip?
I didn't know what's up with me. Nice to see you again, Horatio. That is your name, right?
That's me, sir. Still your respectful servant.
Not my servant, but my friend. I'll change that name for you. But what are you doing so far from Wittenberg, Horatio? Oh, Marcellus.
Hello, sir.
All right. All right. So nice to see you. To Bernardo. Hello, sir. But what are you doing away from Wittenberg, Horatio?
Felt like skipping school, sir.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't allow your enemies to say that, and I would believe it from you. I know you never skip school. What are you doing here in Elsinore?
Elsinore, that's the name of his castle.
Okay. What are you doing here in Elsinore? I'll teach you to do this. All right. I'll teach you to drink hard by the time you leave.
Oh, okay.
Sir, we came to see your father's funeral.
Please don't make fun of me. I'll think you came to see my father's wedding instead.
Well, sir, it's true it came soon after.
It was all about saving a few bucks, Horatio. The leftovers from the funeral dinner made a convenient wedding banquet. Oh, I'd rather have met my fiercest enemy in heaven, Horatio, than have lived through that terrible day. My father. I think I see my father.
Where, sir?
In my imagination, Horatio.
I saw him once. He was an admiral.
He was a great human being. He was perfect in everything. I'll never see the likes of him again.
Unless you see his ghost.
Sir, I think I saw him last night.
So who?
Your father, sir. The dead king.
The king, my father?
Don't get too excited yet, sir. Just listen carefully while I tell you the amazing
For God's sake, let me hear.
After midnight, for 2 nights running, these 2 guards, Marcellus and Bernardo, saw a figure that looked very much like their father, in full armor from head to toe. They just appeared before them and marched past them with slow dignity 3 times, a staff's distance from their amazed eyes, while they turned, quaking with fear and too shocked to speak. They told me all about this, so on the 3rd night I agreed to come stand guard with them to see it for myself. It happened again, just as they had described. I knew your father. This ghost looked as much like him as my 2 hands are like each other.
But where did this happen?
There we go. On the platform where we stand guard, sir.
Didn't you talk to it?
I did, sir, but it didn't answer me. It raised its head once, as if it were about to speak, but just then the rooster started crowing. The ghost vanished from sight.
That's very strange.
I swear to God it's true. We thought you ought to know about it.
Yes, I should know, but it disturbs me. Are you on duty again tonight?
Yes, sir.
It was armed, you say?
Yes, sir. Armed, sir.
From head
I'm sir.
from head to toe?
Yes. From top to bottom, sir.
How are we supposed to do
From
this?
head to toe? Huh?
It's hard for me and Ian to say stuff at the same time, but we're doing what we can.
So you couldn't see his face then?
Oh, yes, we could, sir. He had his helmet visor up.
Was he frowning?
More sad than angry.
Was he pale or flushed and red-faced?
Very bad, sir.
Did he stare at you?
The whole time.
I wish I'd been there.
You would have been very shocked.
I'm sure I would have. Did it stay a long time?
How much longer would it take someone to count slowly to 100?
You know, the way you measure time. Like, what? No. Longer
Longer
than.
than that.
Not until my side.
His beard was gray, right?
Just like in real life. Dark brown, silver whiskers.
I'll stand guard with you tonight. Maybe it'll come again.
I bet it will.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude. Oh.
Yeah,
If it looks like my good father, I'll speak to it. Even if hell's, hell itself opens up and tells me to be quiet, I'll ask you if you've kept this a secret, keep doing so. Whatever happens tonight, don't talk about it. I'll return the favor. So goodbye for now. I'll see you on the guards platform between 11 and 12 tonight.
we'll do our duty to you, sir.
That's kind of
We all said it. We all said it at the same time. It's good.
Give me your love instead as I give you mine. Goodbye. Kind of weird. Oh, I gotta read that too.
Yeah.
My father goes armed. Something's wrong. I suspect some foul play. I wish the night were here already. Until then, I have to remain calm. Bad deeds will be revealed no matter how people try to hide them.
Okay, so before we continue to the next scene, there's a few things in there worth talking about. First of all, I just want to point out, I don't know why this cracks me up, but when Hamlet's like, did he look like my father? Did he stare at you? Was he pale? Oh God, I wish I'd been there. Like, what, you weirdo? But at this point, we don't really know how the king died. Like, no one does, because this was the Renaissance and you could get away with murder and no one would ever know. Just because, like, they didn't have forensics. They didn't really have, like, the kind of police work that we have now. So if somebody just, like, dropped down dead, they were like, oh, shoot, he's dead. Wonder what happened. Yes.
There was a pool of blood on the floor.
Gross. Clean it up.
Gross. Clean it up.
Anyway, yeah, it's exactly what it was. Like, people just, there was no, like, forensic work. If somebody just dropped dead, let's follow my hunch. If somebody just dropped dead, they were like, oh man, that guy's dead. Oh well. And, like, didn't really look into it. So unless you were seen murdering somebody, or, like, you told somebody about it, you could pretty much, like, get away with it. But the one way, I guess, that you wouldn't get away with it is if the person who you murdered, if their ghost shows up and is like, hey, something's not right. I've got unfinished business on Earth or whatever. So the fact that the ghost has shown up is kind of making them think something's wrong. Hamlet says at the end, I suspect some foul play. And now, because, like, if his father just died peacefully and everything was fine, why would he need to, like, come back in spirit form? Maybe. So he wants to come, like, see the ghost and, like, hopefully talk to it just to figure out what it's doing there. But however, in this next scene, he's not going to, because this next scene is Laertes and Ophelia and Polonius will come in. So me and Hayward and Eli. And I'm reading Ophelia, yes. Because I am a woman.
I won't do it.
I'm making
Can I do it?
Christian. What?
Can I do it?
Yeah, you want to read Ophelia?
Yep.
All right. Fantastic. Oh my God, are you going to be able to?
Okay.
Okay, do I go?
Yep.
Okay. My belongings are on the ship already. Goodbye. And my dear sister, as long as the winds are blowing and ships are sailing, let me hear from you. Right.
You done all right.
This is my favorite thing to happen today.
As for Hamlet and his attentions to you, just consider it a big flirtation. The temporary phase of a hot-blooded youth, it won't last. It's sweet, but his affection will fade after a minute, not a second more.
No more than a minute.
Try to think of it like that anyway. When a youth grows into a man, he doesn't just get bigger in his body, his responsibilities grow too. He may love you now and may have only the best intentions, but you have to be on your guard. Remember that he belongs to the royal family and his intentions don't matter that much. He's a slave to his family obligations. He can't simply make personal choices for himself the way common people can, since the whole country depends on what he does. His choice has to agree with what the nation wants.
That's pretty good advice, actually. Like when we went through the characters, I kind of explained that like Hamlet has been in a relationship with Ophelia, but like he doesn't treat her very well, and he's like really giving her a lot of mixed signals. And so Laertes, being a good brother, is kind of like, hey, you need to watch out for Hamlet. Like he doesn't really, like if he really felt the way that you think he does, he would be more direct about it, and he would treat you better. He's a prince. He's got a lot of responsibility, and he probably just like doesn't have time for you. So he's just warning her to be careful. This is still Laertes, by the way. I just wanted to kind of set the scene for that.
So if he says he loves you, you should be wise enough to say that his words only mean as much as the state of Denmark allows them to mean. Then think about how shameful it would be for you to give into his seductive talk and surrender your treasured chest to his greedy hands. Watch out, Ophelia.
Okay,
Just
you know
keep
what?
your love.
Okay, you know what? I'm not gonna reading this. I'm gonna be a girl anymore.
What?
Not being a girl anymore. Okay.
Just keep your love under control and don't let yourself become a target of his lust. Simply exposing your beauty to the moon at night is risky enough. You don't have to expose yourself to him. Even good girls sometimes get a bad reputation. Worms ruin flowers before they blossom. Baby blooms are most sus-
Susceptible.
susceptible to disease. So be careful. Fear will keep you safe. Young people often lose their self-control even without any help from others.
Troy, did you say you don't want to read this anymore?
I'll keep you words. I'll keep your words of wisdom close to my heart. But my dear brother, don't be like a bad priest who storms when he preaches, showing you the steep and narrow way to heaven while you follow a criminal's path of sin.
Don't worry, I won't.
And this is still Laertes. Polonius has like just come in.
I've been here too long, and here comes my father. Well, here comes father. What good luck to have him bless my leaving not once but twice.
Yet here Laertes abroad, or is it abroad?
Aboard.
Aboard for shame. Why am I reading that side? Shame on you. Get on board. The wind is filling your ship's sail, and they're waiting for you. Here I give you my blessing again. And just try to remember a few rules of life. Don't say what you're thinking, and don't be too quick to act on what you think. Be friendly to people, but don't overdo it. Once you've tested out your friends and found them trustworthy, hold on to them. But don't waste your time shaking hands with every new guy you meet. Don't be quick to pick a fight, but once you're in one, hold your own. Listen to many people, but talk to few. Hear everyone's opinion, but reserve your judgment. Spend all you can afford on clothes, but make sure they're quality, not flashy. Since clothes make the man, which is doubly true in France. Don't borrow money and don't lend it, since when you lend to a friend, you often lose the friendship as well as the money, and borrowing turns a person into a I can't read that thing.
Spendthrift.
And above all, be true
Not COVID.
be true to yourself. Then you won't be false to anybody else. Goodbye, son. I hope my blessing will help you absorb what I've said. Oh, that was a lot.
It is a lot. That's one of the most famous speeches from Hamlet, and you might recognize some of the lines from the original text. Neither a borrower nor a lender be, and to thine own self be true. That I feel like that gets used a lot. But since his son is about to go off to France, he's just kind of like giving him all these last minute pieces of advice, which is all pretty good advice given the fact that Polonius is like not a great guy, but he does love his son, and he's giving him just some solid life advice before he heads off into the world.
So,
I humbly say goodbye to you, Father.
Hang on one
Now
sec.
go.
Question.
Now go. The time is right. Your servants are waiting.
Laertes and Ophelia.
Goodbye, Ophelia. Remember what I've told you.
Never.
You know what? I'm sick of something.
What, Troy?
That's something that's I'm sick. I can't hear. I can't talk in that voice anymore.
Okay, you want me to read it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Okay, so the Chip was just asking questions about like relationships in this story, and if anybody else is confused about it, Polonius is the father of Laertes and Ophelia, and he is like the royal advisor to Claudius, who is the uncle daddy. Right.
Yeah, I'm awesome. I know.
It's locked away in my memory, and you've got the key. I feel like that deserves a finger gun. Laertes.
Oh, my bad. Goodbye.
What did he tell you, Ophelia?
Ophelia. Something about Hamlet.
A good thing he did, by God. I've heard Hamlet's been spending a lot of time alone with you recently, and you've made yourself quite available to him. Things are the way people tell me they are, and they're only telling me this to warn me. Then I have to say to you, you're not conducting yourself with the self-restraint a daughter of mine should show. What's going on between you two? Tell me the truth.
He's offered me a lot of affection lately.
Affection? That's nothing. You're talking like some innocent girl who doesn't understand the ways of the world. Do you believe his offers as you tell him?
I don't know what to believe, Father.
Then I'll tell you. Believe that you are a foolish little baby for believing these offers are something real. Offer yourself more respect, or not to beat this world to death. You'll offer me the chance to be a laughingstock.
My God, he obviously likes Laertes a lot more than he likes Ophelia. But
I'm such a nice person.
I know, right? Like it's pretty standard for like back then because women just didn't have a lot of power or like a lot of agency. But he's like, no daughter of mine is gonna behave this way, which like she hasn't even done anything wrong really. She's like very young and naive and innocent, but she has feelings for Hamlet, and like they've flirted, and that's pretty much it. And he's just like, nope, you're acting like no daughter of mine should be acting. You're making yourself too available to him. Father, he's always talked about love in an honorable fashion.
Yes, fashion is just the word, a passing whim. Go on.
And he's made the holiest vows to me to back up what he says.
These vows are just traps for stupid birds. I know when a man is on fire, he'll swear on anything. But when a heart's on fire, it gives out more light than heat. and the fire will be put out even before he's done making his promises. Don't mistake that for true love. From now on, spend a little less time with him and talk to him less. Make yourself a precious commodity. Remember that Hamlet is young and has a lot more freedom to fool around than you do. In short, Ophelia, don't believe his love vows, since they're like flashy pimps who wear nice clothes to lead a woman into filthy acts. To put it plainly, don't waste your time with Hamlet. Do as I say, and I'll come along.
See, I was
I'll do as you say, Father.
Thank you.
I was like, yeah, he's kind of spitting facts. And then you got to, who was I saying?
I
And
know.
I was like,
Yeah, you better do as I say or else.
Like, he and Laertes have similar advice for her, but Laertes is definitely like, he says it with more love and like brotherly protectiveness. He's basically like, yeah, exactly. His dad's like, better not be hoeing around because that's not how a daughter of mine acts. And Laertes is like, I don't want you to get hurt, and I'm afraid that Hamlet will hurt you.
The dad's pride is involved. It's way more than
100%, yeah.
And it's very similar advice, but it's like
It comes
a little bit
across
of his
really
reputation
differently.
is on the line.
Right. He even says like, don't make me a laughing stock.
Exactly.
So he's really like, he's more concerned for his reputation than for her for her feelings. And she does have feelings for Hamlet, and she, you can tell by the way she talks that she's sort of like, well, I don't know, like, he said some really nice things to me, I think he might like me. And he's just like, nope, don't give in to any of that, don't act like a loose woman, which she's not. But like, yes, I completely agree. Chip said his reputation is getting in the way of what's good advice. It's 9:53. Let's read for another couple minutes, and this scene's only 5 pages, so if we don't finish it, y'all can finish this, before Wednesday of next week. It's a lot of reading, I know, but we have Hamlet, Horatio, and Marcellus in this scene. Horatio. Hamlet. Brendan, are you there?
Let's get back. All right, so where we at? The top?
Yep.
The air is biting cold.
Yes, it's definitely
What time is it?
a little before 12, I think.
No, it's just after 12. I heard the clock strike.
Really? I didn't hear it. So barely the time when the ghost likes to.
There's my trumpets and cannons.
What does that mean, sir?
The king is staying up all night drinking and dancing as he guzzles down his German wine. The musicians make a ruckus to celebrate his draining another cup.
Is that tradition?
Yes, it is. But though I was born here and should consider that tradition part of my own heritage, I think it would be better to ignore it than appreciate it. Other countries criticize us for our loud partying.
Does this take place in America? And this is still you at the top of the next page.
All right. They call us drunks and insult our noble titles, and our drunkenness does detect from our achievements, as great as they are, and lessens our reputations. It's just like what happens to certain people who some birth defect, who have some birth defect, which they are not responsible for since nobody chooses how he's born, or some weird habit or
Compulsion.
compulsion. What that mean?
Like you're compelled to do something, like you can't help it.
All right, I remember that. Compulsion. That changes them completely. It happens sometimes that one little defect in these people, as wonderful and talented as they may be, will make them look completely bad to other people. A tiny spot of evil casts doubt on their good qualities and ruin their reputation.
The ghost enters. The ghost is not going to have any lines during this part, though.
Look, sir, here it comes.
Oh, angels protect us. What you say is funny. Whether you're a good spirit or a cursed demon, whether you bring heavenly breezes or a blast of hellfire, whether your intentions are good or evil, you look so strange. I want to talk to you. I'll call you Hamlet Senior, King, Father, Royal Dane. Answer me. Don't drive me crazy with curiosity, but tell me why your church buried bones have burst out of their coffin, and why your tomb.
Um, oh, that's actually not. I was going to say let's stop there, but he's not finished talking.
Boy. Where we quietly buried you has opened up its heavy marble jaws to spit you out again. What could it mean that you have put on your armor again, you corpse, and have come back to look at the moon, making the night terrifying and stirring us humans with supernatural fears? Why? What do you want from us? What should we do?
But I'm gonna let you guys figure out what you should do on your own, because we only have a minute until the bell. So just like by next week, I mean, I think I mentioned I don't think that we'll actually be reading together again until next Thursday, but let's just finish reading this scene before then. 2.5 pages, no big deal. Um, and we'll call it a day, like a minute early. But good reading, everybody. Especially Troy. Oh my God. That was great. But I will hope everybody has a very nice weekend. Have fun and be safe if you're doing anything for Halloween. And I will see y'all on Monday. Bye.